Hey there, welcome back. It's Trending Everyday Podcast with your host, Michael, bringing you the hottest takes daily.
All right, music fans, welcome back to another deep dive. And this time, we're going to be tackling Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' hit Die With a Smile.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. And you know what's interesting is we've got the lyrics right here in front of us, but we also have this guide for creating music podcasts.
Okay.
So we're going to be kind of pulling from both of these sources to see what kind of insights we can get into, the song itself, the music, the whole shebang.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting because I think it's always cool to understand not just what creators make, but how they think and how they go about making it. And we can do that through a song, and we can do that through a guide on making a podcast.
Totally, yeah.
About music.
Exactly. And I think, by the end of this, you guys are going to be able to listen to any song with fresh ears and really break it down and see the magic behind it.
I think so too.
Okay, so let's jump right into the lyrics of Die With a Smile. And one of the first things that hits me is that it's set against this apocalyptic backdrop. The world is ending, but the message is all about this fierce, unwavering love. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'm going to love you every night like it's the last night.
Okay.
There's so much raw intensity there, right?
Absolutely. And, you pointed out the repetition of last night. And it's not just there because it rhymes.
Right.
It's there to create that sense of urgency, to emphasize this idea of living in the moment. We're going to live it up.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because the song juxtaposes partying and celebrating with the world literally ending around them.
Yeah.
And that contrast, I think, is what makes it so powerful.
Totally. It's we might be doomed, but we're going down in style.
Yeah, exactly.
And it reminds me of other apocalyptic stories in pop culture, where love and connection, they just become even more precious when everything else is falling apart.
Absolutely. And that's a great connection to make because, we're talking about this podcast guide, and one of the things it talks about is music video breakdown.
Okay.
As a way to analyze a song's message and impact. So let's put on our director hats for a second and imagine a music video for Die With a Smile.
I love it.
How could we bring this to life visually?
Okay.
What could we do?
Okay, so I'm picturing a super vibrant party scene.
Okay.
Maybe a masquerade theme. Everyone's dressed to the nines, completely oblivious to the chaos unfolding outside.
Okay.
And then as the song progresses, we start to see glimpses of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Crumbling buildings, smoke-filled skies.
Right.
But the party keeps raging on.
I love that contrast, just visually represents that party while the world burns kind of vibe.
Right. Totally. Okay, so let's take it a step further, though.
Okay.
So the guide also talks about cinematography.
Yes.
And techniques using slow motion to evoke specific emotions. So what if we use slow motion during those party scenes, focusing on individual couples just lost in their own world, completely oblivious to the impending doom?
I love that.
Just to highlight that intimacy and the preciousness of their connection in the midst of all this chaos.
Yeah, it's freezing those moments of pure joy and love.
Yes.
And making them stand out.
Yes, exactly.
Even more
brilliant
against that backdrop of
destruction. Yeah.
The world falling apart.
And what about the color palette?
Oh, that's a good point. What if we started with these super saturated, almost neon colors during the party?
Okay.
And then as the world outside, starts to crumble, we gradually shift to a more muted, almost ashen tone.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can almost see it now, the vibrant colors just fading away as the reality of the situation sets in.
Yeah.
It's visually mirroring the emotional arc of the song.
Exactly.
This is making me realize we're already using some of the techniques from our podcasting guide, like lyrics analysis, without even realizing it.
Yeah. We're breaking down the imagery, the metaphors, the emotional layers embedded in the lyrics, just like the guide suggests.
Yeah.
And this approach can be applied to any song,
right?
Whether it has a music video or not.
That's what's so cool about it. It's you're unlocking a secret code, deciphering the language of music and discovering all these hidden layers of meaning.
Exactly. And there's no one right interpretation. It's about the journey of discovery.
Yeah.
The exploration of ideas.
Yeah.
And the conversations that it sparks.
Yeah. And speaking of conversations,
yeah.
Our guide really emphasizes listener engagement.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about like sharing your interpretations, debating different perspectives, and like connecting with other music lovers.
That's such a crucial point, sharing your thoughts, discussing interpretations, even just like geeking out
Yeah.
over a shared favorite song. All of that enriches the experience, and it deepens your appreciation for the music.
Yeah, it's like joining a whole community of like-minded music nerds who get just as excited about a well-placed metaphor as we do.
Totally.
But it's not just about the lyrics.
Right.
Our podcast guide also like dives into the technical side of music production. So what do you think are like some key elements that give Die With a Smile? Is that signature sound?
Oh, that's a good one. I think one thing that jumps out to me is the use of dynamic contrast.
Okay.
The verses are relatively subdued, almost intimate, with Lady Gaga's vocals taking center stage. And then the chorus just explodes with energy.
Right.
Bringing in Bruno Mars's powerful voice and this wall of instrumentation.
Yeah.
And that shift just creates this sonic roller coaster that mirrors the emotional intensity of the lyrics.
Oh, I totally hear that. It's like the music itself is mirroring that contrast between the intimate moments of love and the overwhelming chaos of the apocalypse.
Exactly.
It's giving me chills just thinking about it.
And speaking of sonic techniques, let's talk about reverb. You know how certain vocal lines, especially in the chorus, have this like expansive, almost ethereal quality to them?
Yeah.
That's reverb at work,
Oh.
creating a sense of space and grandeur that just adds to the song's like epic feel.
Now that you mention it, I can totally hear it. It's like the sound is echoing through this like vast emptiness
Yeah.
of the post-apocalyptic world. It's such a subtle detail, but it adds so much depth and atmosphere.
Totally.
Makes you wonder, like, how many other sonic tricks are like hiding in plain sight in our favorite songs?
All the time.
Correct.
And that's why I love breaking down these creative choices,
Yeah.
It helps us appreciate the artistry and the craftsmanship that goes into creating music that moves us. And this is where the podcast guide, I think, comes in handy again.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of understanding the why behind these choices. Like,
Right.
why did they use reverb in that specific part of the song? What effect were they trying to achieve? By asking these questions, we can gain a deeper understanding of the song's message and impact.
It's like we're becoming music detectives,
Yes.
piecing together the clues to uncover the song's like hidden secrets.
Exactly.
And the more we understand about the creative process, the more we can appreciate the music on a whole new level.
I completely agree.
Okay, so let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about the role of the listener.
Okay.
So our podcast guide really emphasizes the importance of active listening,
Yeah.
which means engaging with the music on a conscious level,
Right.
paying attention to details, forming your own interpretations.
Yeah.
I think that's something we often take for granted.
I agree.
It's so easy to just like passively consume music, let it wash over us without really like thinking about it.
Right.
But when we actively listen, we open ourselves up to this like whole world of meaning and emotion.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some tips for becoming a more active listener?
Well, one simple but powerful technique is to just focus on one element at a time. Okay.
So for example, listen to Die With a Smile again,
Okay.
but this time just pay attention to the vocals.
Okay.
Notice the nuances in Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars's delivery, the way they convey emotion through their voices.
Right.
Then listen again, but this time focus on the instrumentation.
Okay.
Pay attention to the different layers, the interplay between the instruments and the overall sonic landscape they create.
Yeah.
By isolating these elements, you start to appreciate the complexity and depth of the music
Oh, totally.
in a whole new way.
It's like training your ear to pick up on those like subtle details that might have gone unnoticed before.
Yeah, and the more you practice active listening,
Right.
the more you'll discover
Yeah.
in the music you love.
It's like a muscle.
Exactly.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
And it's not just about analytical listening either.
Right.
Active listening also involves paying attention to your own emotional response.
Okay.
How does the music make you feel? What memories does it evoke? What thoughts or images come to mind?
By connecting with the music on an emotional level, you create a more personal and meaningful experience.
I love that. It's like recognizing that music is not just sound.
Right.
It's a powerful form of communication
Yeah.
that can touch our hearts and souls in these like profound ways.
Mm.
And speaking of powerful moments, there's one particular line in Die With a Smile that always sends shivers down my spine.
Oh, I'm curious, which line is that?
It's the line where Lady Gaga sings, If the world ends tonight, I want to die with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
There's something so defiant and life-affirming about that statement, even in the face of utter destruction. You know?
Right.
It's like a reminder to embrace life fully, no matter what challenges we face.
It really is. It's about, the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of love. Even in the darkest of times, there's always something worth fighting for, worth smiling about.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a musical mantra for embracing life to the fullest, even when everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to our imaginary music video. If you were directing it, what unique visual element would you add to capture the essence of that line? I want to die with a smile on my face.
Ooh. I think I would incorporate a recurring motif of mirrors.
Okay.
Throughout the video, we could see the characters catching glimpses of themselves in shattered mirrors,
Okay.
reflecting on their own mortality and the choices they're making in these final moments.
Oh, I really like that. Just visually representing that moment of self-reflection, like that confrontation with your own mortality.
Oh,
And mirrors just have such a symbolic resonance with themes of identity and self-discovery.
absolutely. And as the song progresses and the world around them crumbles, the mirrors could become more fragmented and distorted,
Okay.
reflecting the increasing chaos and uncertainty. But even in those broken reflections, you'd still see glimpses of those smiles,
Right.
those moments of defiant joy.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like visually saying, even though the world is falling apart, my spirit remains unbroken and I choose to face the end with a smile. I can practically see it playing out on screen.
It's amazing how, just talking about these creative choices can unlock so much depth and meaning in a song. And that's what's so exciting about this deep dive. We've gone beyond just listening to Die with a Smile.
Yeah.
We've dissected the lyrics, explored the sonic landscape, and even imagined a music video that could bring the song to life visually.
We've truly gone behind the scenes of the creative process.
We have.
And the best part is we've learned techniques that we can apply to any song we hear from now on.
Exactly.
We can be more active listeners, pay attention to those sonic details, and even imagine our own music videos to deepen our understanding and appreciation
I love that.
of the music we love.
Yeah.
So the next time you hear a song that moves, you don't just let it wash over.
Right.
Take a moment to really listen,
Yeah.
analyze the lyrics, consider the sonic choices,
Mm.
and even imagine your own visuals. You might be surprised by what you discover. That's such great advice. All right, so this has been an awesome deep dive into Die with a Smile.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of musical exploration.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep listening, keep analyzing, keep the conversation going.
Please hit the subscribe button and drop a comment on the next trending music you want us to review.